This is a broadcast of SmallCapVoice.com, a financial communications and investor relations firm. SmallCapVoice.com receives payment for investor relations and financial consulting services that it provides to its clients. You should assume that officers, directors, and employees of SmallCapVoice.com or financial analysts mentioned and their families hold a position and intend to trade in these securities for their own accounts. This is not an offer or recommendation to buy or sell securities. Information in this broadcast is presented solely for informative purposes and is not intended to be, nor should it be construed as, investment advice. As in all investments, an investment in the featured company carries an investment risk. Listeners should review the company thoroughly with a registered investment advisor or registered stockbroker. This broadcast does not purport to be a complete study of the featured company or other companies mentioned. Information used and statements of fact have been obtained from the featured company and other sources but not verified nor guaranteed by SmallCapVoice.com as to completeness or accuracy. Such information is subject to change without notice.
You're wired in. SmallCapVoice.com. Following is a presentation of SmallCapVoice.com, today's leader in investor relations, capital formation, and retail support. Now, with your online business briefing, SmallCapVoice.com's Stuart T. Smith.
Welcome one, welcome all to this online business briefing brought to you by SmallCapVoice.com. And as you just heard, I'm your host, Stuart Smith. Now, we're joined today for the very first time by Wowio Incorporated. The company's traded under the ticker symbol WWIO. And we're lucky enough to be joined by the Chief Executive Officer for the company, Brian Altunian. Brian, how are you today?
Good morning, Stuart. I'm great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to stop by and speak to your company's shareholders as well as the listeners to this program who may not know about your company yet. So for those listeners, if you would, let's get an overview of the business model and markets for the company.
Sure, Stuart. We are a technology development company and a digital media company with a specialized focus on ebooks. And we have an advantage in the marketplace in that we have a patent that allows us to insert ads in ebooks. And what that does is it creates a new dynamic for the book publishing space. So following what's happened in the other media industries, what happened in music back in the late 90s, what's happened in film and television, as the digital distribution of content has proliferated, now everybody's consuming all of their content on digital devices, the book publishing space is really one of the last holdouts to really fully embrace this digital distribution world. And so it's coming. Everybody knows what an ebook is, and at the moment, ebooks are really just a digital manifestation of a book. But as ebooks make the access to material much broader for the consumer, the next thing that happens, as it always has, it's happened with every other aspect of the media industry, is pricing. It becomes a factor. And, you know, our kids, I have an 18-year-old and a 15-year-old and a 7-year-old. My kids consume all of their media on digital devices, iPads, their phones, and they are used to accessing that content for free. Well, as you know, nobody puts up content and gives it away for free. So there's an ad-subsidized model generally plays a role in giving that content away for free. While ads in a book may seem like something that for those of us over the age of 30 might have an issue with, for our kids and the generation that's really consuming this media on digital devices, it's really not an issue. Ads are not an issue. So we're really kind of cracking this last area of content, if you will, and introducing the idea of putting ads in ebooks. And we have a patent that gives us really a proprietary advantage in the market that takes demographic profiling information about the user that the user provides, by the way, and gives them appropriate ads in their ebook and gives their book away for free. So as you can imagine, there's some structures in the industry that we've had to go up against and we've had to challenge, and we're starting to see some real traction. So the company is really focused on building out an ebook distribution platform and an ebook distribution process by which we can deliver ads into ebooks and have ebooks distributed on a global scale for free.
Excellent. Well, let's learn about you and your background and what brought you to this point here in your professional career, as well as other key members of the management there at Wowio. Go ahead.
Sure. I I've lived in Los Angeles. I went to school, got my undergrad degree at UCLA and my MBA at Pepperdine, so I'm really kind of a Southern Californian, born and raised. Kind of grew up in the entertainment industry, more on the finance, admin, and operations side of the business. I worked for some great companies in the entertainment space, National Geographic and Time Warner, and really got to see a lot of content creation, production, distribution, some of the challenges that have faced that industry going back from the late 80s all the way up through 2000. And so, always thinking about how, content was being distributed, how you create something and get that out to your user base. And in 2000, I was involved with a number of early stage technology companies that had some great breakthrough technology in their respective industries, and was involved with a fund that helped them get out to the public market, access capital to grow, to move from a development stage company into an execution stage company. And my last company, Platinum Studios, was an entertainment-based company with a very large comic book library. And I first encountered the Wowio platform while I was at Platinum Studios, and we were looking for a way to take comic books and distribute them broadly to a large audience. And once we got a few movies made, Cowboys and Aliens came from our library at Platinum Studios, I really looked at the opportunity to move the digital distribution of content forward. The CEO had other plans. He wanted to just focus on trying to make more Cowboys and Aliens. So I separated from Platinum Studios. I acquired Wowio, and I basically rebuilt Wowio on its own as a digital media distribution company. And I really believed that the future of book publishing was going the direction that we are all now seeing. And that was a few years ago. So a little bit ahead of the curve, and I think I've got a bit of a history of doing that, being involved in companies that were a little bit ahead of the curve, but had some proprietary technology or some proprietary aspect of the business that gave it a lead and advantage in the marketplace. So Wowio is another one of those we've taken out to the public market, and we're moving from a development stage company into an execution stage company. A few of the other folks that are on my management team, I have Jacob Morris, who's my chief operating officer. Jacob has a 25-year history in online advertising and digital advertising. So this aspect of breaking new ground in the advertising aspect of ebooks is really being forged by Jacob, and we're looking at challenging again some of the paradigms in the advertising space, and really the future of digital advertising is moving swiftly and in a grand scale to mobile ads. And Jacob has a lot of expertise in that particular area. We have a CFO, Brian Bankson, who has a lot of history with public companies, been involved with Ernst & Young's, CPA, public company experience, brilliant management team, and I had an advisory board with a varied background, some in technology, some in content distribution. Again, a board that supports our efforts and really gives us a lot of access to information we need as we're trying to forge new ground.
Well, as you look back on the year 2014, as we're in the fourth quarter calendar-wise, let's talk about some of the major achievements for the company so far this year.
Well, the biggest highlight for the year so far has been our movement to the public market, and that was something that I set out to do a couple of years ago. Getting to the public market these days, as you know, Stuart, is a much more difficult process than it used to be. Again, I've been involved in 9 other companies that have gone to the public market, so I know the difficulty there. And again, I'm just saying that to show that we cleared a lot of hurdles to get to this point. So on the public market side, we've given our original shareholders a way to liquidate, find an exit strategy, and for new shareholders to be involved in the company. What we are also planning on doing is we're in the last stages of development of a mobile app on the Android operating system for our ebook platform, and we're in development on a few other platforms as well, the iOS version of our mobile app, the Windows mobile version of our mobile app, and a network-wide platform for automating and making a programmatic version of our ad platform for ebooks. And that's really what we've been doing for 2014 and continue to do and pursue to push product release over the next 6 months.
Exciting times for you and your company. Now, you talked about some of the goals for the company in the next 6 months. We've got 1 quarter here, maybe quarter 4 here, Q1 2015. What are some of the immediate goals for the company?
The immediate goals, well, obviously here we have product release of our own mobile app version, and really, Stuart, the goal of the company, I don't really want to be mobile storefront that really tries to compete with Amazon and Apple. Our mobile storefront is going to give us the opportunity to attract publishers that understand the ad model. That again, as we're breaking new ground, we're launching our own platform to be able to continue to show proof of concept and prototypes. Ultimately, though, the larger platform delivery that we've been talking about, again, programmatic delivery of ads and ebooks is our ultimate goal here. We again expected to do that. We're looking at some potential partnerships with ad networks to make that happen, to facilitate that process on a much bigger scale. Other things that we're looking to do for the company is we've been looking at a few other companies that have synergistic technology, synergistic elements of their, whether it's assets or revenue streams, and looking at potential acquisitions. So if you've noticed, recently we've put out a few announcements. One, most recently, we're working with a few banking and funding sources to allow us to pursue those acquisitions on a fairly aggressive manner, and we believe that that will help the company on the fundamental side, help the company on our product delivery side, help the company on so many levels, and we think that the market will recognize the value of that.
Well, speaking of what the market will recognize, we always recognize strong news, and the company issued some here in the month of September. Let's go back to September 19th. Wowio, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Aquis Capital signed agreement to facilitate growth through strategic acquisitions. Tell us a little bit about this press release.
That's what I was just referring to. The goal of the company is, again, looking at synergistic acquisitions of companies, technology, content that helps to further our initiative. So, we've got this very strong patent, and we've got the ability to deliver ads and ebooks. For us to grow that publication side, to actually acquire publishers or others that have very large ebook libraries, gives us a lot of content that we then can actually achieve the goal of revenue growth through advertising. We're looking at that. We're looking at some technology companies that will help enhance the technology development for the company. So Aquis is a partner that will help us utilize a special process by which we can complete those acquisitions on a fairly timely manner.
Well, listeners, once again, we are speaking with Brian Altunian. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Wowio Incorporated, ticker symbol again, WWIO. We want you to take a closer look at this company as we initiate coverage on them now here in the month of October. Take a look at StudioWdigital.com to learn more about Wowio. And, of course, we're going to have all of our reports hitting the press wire as well as through your email inbox and on the Twitter and Facebook feeds. So make sure you stay in touch with us here at SmallCapVoice.com as we grow our coverage on Wowio Incorporated. For Brian Altunian, this is Stuart Smith saying thanks so much for listening.
SmallCapVoice.com, today's leader in investor relations, capital formation, and retail support, provides its clients with the highest level of service. Our audio interviews are disseminated to one of the largest opt-in audiences available today. How? We at SmallCapVoice.com believe in aligning and affiliating ourselves with other leaders within the investor relations community. By sharing resources, each affiliated firm is made that much stronger and each client is served that much better. Our focus is to identify and provide the very best financial services and solutions available to clients and their shareholders. For more information about our services, please call us at 512-267-2430 or visit us on the web at www.smallcapvoice.com.